Hi guys, I'm Jill Webber-Fredrick, and behind me is my collection, my body of work that I've created for this exhibit. I titled the exhibit Unfolding, a New Way of Seeing, a New Way of Being, and I titled it that for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons that I will start with is the medium that I use. Using the Sumi ink was new to me, and I didn't have much experience with using that kind of medium. I worked with a lot of watercolor a lot, but the Sumi ink was new to me, so I spent a good amount of time working with it. It's not that easy. It's not like a watercolor paint, but I fell in love with it working with the blackest blacks of the dark ink, opaque and completely saturated. And the more water you use, it went to the most luminous pearly white. So I fell in love with the mystery of that medium. And so about a year ago, I just started playing around, trying to create some paintings that were pleasing to me using a combination of the Sumi ink as well as the watercolor. And I created 8 pieces that were mostly abstract in nature, minimalism type pieces, which also goes along with my love for the Asian culture, art and design, and so this complete body of work is definitely a nod with the minimalism that I have here. So the second reason for my title, Unfolding, a New Way of Seeing, a New Way of Being, came when I started to create the second part of this collection, which I decided to take it into, it's still abstract, but I wanted to make more realism in some ways. So it was natural for me to start working with some elements of nature. Some of the early pieces are mostly abstract, but a few of them turned out a little more botanical in nature, so I continued with that theme. And what I found along the way, looking at elements of nature much more closely, spending time with them, and like an example that I have would be this moth that just you just have the wings, the second half of its body is not there. And that came about when I was looking at a moth, following a moth in my home, and it was flying, of course, and I didn't see the lower body. All I saw was the wings. And so I thought that was very interesting that, you know, when it's flying, it has another part of its body, but I didn't see it. So I decided to take that as an element to put on paper as far as looking at things closely and then documenting it. So another example of that would be the leaves, the beaming piece called Beaming. I was looking out at a field of grasses, and at the time it was it was fairly far away, but it all looked one color. It looked just like this rosy mauve color. And I continued again, just continue observing it, spending time with it. And I saw more than just the mauve and the golden colors. I saw green, I saw blue, other colors. And I just thought that was very interesting to, spend more time with these elements in nature and everywhere, really. The other one that I wanted to mention is this poppy that has so many layers to it. This is called Blushing. But when you look inside a poppy, for example, there's so much going on, so much texture, and so many layers of color. And I wanted to portray that also in one of my pieces. I completed this collection, and I had a thought that would be fun for me to think of this as like creating a clothing collection. When you see a runway show, you see similar colors, cohesive colors working together, and styles and fabrics. Um, but it really came together when I did my very last piece, which is called Collaborating. And I thought of that as the wedding dress for the clothing collection and for this piece. It just kind of finished it for me. That's how I knew I was finished with this collection. And that's in a different room, and it's a little bit larger to kind of nod to this wedding dress piece at the end of the clothing collection. And it's birds, abstract birds, flying, very expressive. And I also wanted to mention at the opening, I had a lot of people come up to me and ask me about my signature seal. So the way I sign these pieces is with it's a red ink uh, seal is what it is. It's traditional in Asian culture for signing. You know, you could sign your, a contract with where they sign with the seal. It's they sign their art with the seal, and I just loved the simplicity of it. And it's a stone. It's a piece of limestone, and I had a Chinese monk carve my name on a seal that small. You can only use one syllable, so they do it. They create them based on symbols. So my name is Jill, and so that says Jill in symbols. So I was only able to get my first name on that little one. But then I finish it with a W, which is my last name. And thank you for listening. Thank you, Abby and Gundy, for this unique experience.